For my body systems presentation, I decided to do the digestive system. The purpose of having a digestive system is so that it will turn whatever we eat into nutrients, which our body uses for energy, growth, and cell repair. Without a digestive system, we would not have the energy to complete our everyday activities. Some of the diseases and disorders that this digestive system process may have is called the celiac disease. This occurs when a person eats gluten foods. What happens is that the immune system may gradually damage the lining of the small intestine, making it difficult for the body to absorb vitamins and minerals. Another disease is called the inflammatory bowel disease. This occurs when the small or large intestine becomes inflamed and swollen. This may cause diarrhea, bloating, cramps, or stomach pain. A disorder that someone could have is called the irritable bowel syndrome. This is a chronic, long-term condition that affects the small and large intestine. The food either moves too slow or quickly, not allowing the colon to absorb the right amount of water from the food, which causes diarrhea or constipation. Comparing our digestive systems to an animal, I decided to select an earthworm. An earthworm's digestive system consists of a mouth, a pharynx, an esophagus, a crop, a gizzard, and an intestine. The process is less complicated. After the food is passed through the pharynx, it goes into the esophagus where it's mixed with calcium carbonate. The food then passes to the crop, which is like the stomach of a human being and acts as a temporary storage area. After the crop, food is passed to the gizzard where the muscles churn and mix the food with chemicals that break it down. From the crop, it moves into the intestine where the thick paste is passed to the anus where it exits out of the worm's body. And here is a picture of how the earthworm's digestive system looks like. Alright, so on to the food pathway. First of all, in the mouth, it's the beginning of the digestive tract after taking the first bite of food. The chewing breaks down the food into pieces that are easy to digest. Saliva mixes with the food to begin the process of breaking it down. After the mouth, it goes into the pharynx and the esophagus. Also known as the throat, the pharynx receives the food from your mouth, and then it carries it on to the esophagus, which then brings it to the stomach. Peristalsis helps deliver food to your stomach in a series of muscular contractions. Moving the food into the stomach is a hollow organ container that holds food while it's being mixed with enzymes that break down the food even more. The cells in the lining of the stomach secrete strong acid and powerful enzymes for the breakdown process. When contents are ready, they are released into the small intestine. So onto the small intestine. It's a 22-foot long muscular tube that breaks down food using enzymes released by the pancreas and bile from the liver. It's made up of three parts: the duodenum, the jejunum, and the ileum. And here's a picture of the three intestines that make up the small one. From the small intestine, it goes on to the large intestine, which is also known as the colon. It's a 5 to 6 foot long muscular tube that connects to the rectum. Any stool or waste leftovers from the digestive process in the small intestine is passed through the colon in a liquid state, but is left in a solid state after the water is removed. I also have a video example of how the food passes through our body.
primary functions of the digestive system are the breakdown of food, called digestion, and absorption of nutrients. Digestion begins in the mouth, where the teeth break food into smaller particles during mastication. Salivary glands located near the oral cavity secrete saliva, which begins chemical digestion and keeps the food moist. As food is swallowed, the soft palate blocks the upper pharynx to prevent food from entering the nasal cavity, and multiple voluntary muscles in the face, neck, and tongue contract, pushing food particles through the pharynx. The food passes over the epiglottis, which prevents food entry into the respiratory system, and then into the esophagus, which connects the pharynx to the stomach. The one-way movement of the food mass, now called a bolus, is controlled by wave-like involuntary muscle contractions. This movement is known as peristalsis. The bolus now enters the stomach. Folds in the stomach wall, called rugae, allow for expansion as the stomach fills. Stomach cells secrete hydrochloric acid, pepsinogen, and various regulatory hormones that chemically digest the bolus. Muscular contractions in the stomach churn its contents to further break down the bolus and mix it with stomach secretions to form a thick liquid called chyme. Chyme exits the stomach through the pyloric sphincter and enters the small intestine, the major site of nutrient absorption. The small intestine consists of three parts: the duodenum, jejunum, and ileum. Bile from the liver and digestive enzymes from the pancreas empty into the duodenum to aid in digestion. Absorbed nutrients pass from the lumen of the small intestine into blood and lymph. Chyme not absorbed in the small intestine enters the large intestine. As it passes through the cecum and ascending, transverse, descending, and sigmoid colon, water and salts are absorbed and chyme is converted into feces. The rectum stores feces until nervous stimulation initiates the defecation reflex, resulting in elimination through the anal canal.
All right, so now I have some interesting facts about the digestive system. The average human being has over 400 different species of bacteria living in their colon.
Digestion in human beings. Human beings take food through mouth.
Sorry about that. It takes about 7 seconds for food to travel through the esophagus and reach the stomach. An adult female's small intestine is longer than an average adult male's. The stomach of an adult holds up to 1.5 liters of food and stays there for about 2 to 3 hours. Hydrochloric acid that is produced by the stomach can dissolve metal but has no effect on plastic. And that is my presentation. Thank you.